Well, finally, even Hungary has started to get rid of Russian influence and dependence, which will be a turning point for all of Europe. Hungary, the largest remaining client of Russia's Gazprom in the European Union, is signing a long-term contract with one of the Western countries for the supply of natural gas. This was announced today by Hungary's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Péter Szijjártó. This means that Hungary has decided to move away from Russian gas, as the European Union has decided to completely stop using Russian energy resources by 2027. And Hungary was one of the last countries still dependent on the Kremlin's gas. There are several factors here that influence Budapest's decision. First of all, the European Commission recently stated that its patience has run out and the European Union is preparing to strip Hungary of its voting rights in the European Union, as well as the country's European funding worth billions of euros. Secondly, Donald Trump stated that he is very dissatisfied that Europe is still buying Russian gas, and he put pressure on Viktor Orban. And thirdly, after meeting with the Europeans, the White House called on the European Union to buy more American gas, saying that there will definitely be a replacement for Russian gas. My name is Alexei Peci. Today is March 9th, but the calendar says September 5th. Let's find out why. This is a good signal from Hungary, which many did not expect. But before we start, I want to remind you that every day on this YouTube channel, several news and analytical stories about events around the world are released. So that you stay up to date with absolutely all the news, I recommend subscribing to this YouTube channel and liking this episode. So today, the Hungarian Foreign Minister Jarta shocked everyone with a statement. Quote, "This will be our longest-term gas purchase agreement from the Western direction. Hungary has always made serious efforts toward diversification, and the more gas we purchase through more routes, the better." With this statement, he confirmed that Hungary has begun moving toward reducing its reliance on Russian gas, even if only partially. Let me note right away, Hungary is currently trying to downplay the scale of this. They say Orban hasn't backed down, Orban hasn't made any concessions to Brussels. They claim it's just a step toward diversification, but that's not true. I'll explain why later. As Bloomberg notes, Hungary has signed a contract to purchase 2 billion cubic meters of gas annually from British Shell. Deliveries will begin in 2026, and the agreement itself is set for 10 years. The gas will be delivered, attention, through the Czech Republic and Germany. Hungary still has a valid contract with the Russian company Gazprom for 4.5 billion cubic meters of gas annually until 2036. But don't jump to conclusions here. Currently, Budapest spends about 500 million euros per month on purchasing energy resources from Russia. According to calculations by the Finnish Analytical Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air in July, gas supplies to Hungary amounted to 285 million euros, and oil supplies another 200 million. Slovakia also continues to purchase Russian pipeline gas, but its volumes are significantly smaller, about 50 million euros per month. Previously, Russia also sent gas to Hungary through Ukraine, but since January of this year, deliveries have stopped because Moscow and Kiev did not renew the transit agreement. And here, let me remind you that Péter Szijjártó has already noted that if a ban on the import of Russian fuel is introduced, Budapest will look for an alternative. One of the options could be supplies from Romania, which plans to start developing the Neptune Deep gas field in the Black Sea starting in 2027. It could make the country the largest producer of natural gas in Europe. Let's return to Hungary's contract with Russian company Gazprom, which runs until 2036. The thing is, at the European Union level, a decision has already been made that all member states, without exception, are required to completely stop using Russian gas by 2027. Hungary and Slovakia loudly declared that they would not follow Brussels' lead. They don't care at all about the European Union's decision, and they will continue to buy gas from Russia because it's profitable. And blah blah blah. Thing is, the European Union did something that seemed unthinkable. Back in July, Denmark, which now holds the presidency of the European Council, called for Hungary to be suspended from voting in the European Union. Denmark stated that if Hungary does not change its position on a number of issues, the country intends to initiate the procedure under Article 7 of the Treaty on European Union against Hungary, since Hungary is violating the fundamental values of the European Union. Article 7 of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to vote for the exclusion or imposition of a penalty on a member state that violates the common rule. The article of the Treaty on European Union allows states to violate rule. Article 7 on European allows member states to vote for violation. Article 7 of the Treaty on European allows member states to vote for exclusion. Imposing a fine on the state which violates the rule. Article 7 of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to vote for exclusion or imposition. An article of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to vote for imposing a penalty on a state that violates the rule. An article of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to impose a penalty or exclusion on a member state that violates the rules. An article of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to vote for exclusion or imposition on a state that violates the rule. An article of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to vote for exclusion or imposition if a rule is violated. Article 7 of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to vote for exclusion. Imposing a fine on a member state that violates the rule. Article 7 of the European Union allows member states to vote for exclusion. Article 7 of the Treaty on European Union allows member states to vote for exclusion and to impose a fine on a member. That violates the rule.